impurity in a shelter in which a corpse is located. So a unique law in the Torah, let's say here, this is the home. And if I have, give me 1 second, I'm going to get the proper prop. No. So we'll just use it as a prop. So here, this is an earthenware vessel. And the law is that if it's properly sealed, covered over and sealed, right? Then even though this is in the house where there is a corpse or anything that's defined as a corpse, as we've learned, right? Everything that's inside it, oops, sorry. Everything that's inside, oops, inside here, whatever contents would be inside in there, is pure, right? The contents in the container. It doesn't get ritual impurity, right? So where do we know that? Because it says in Bamidbar, any open container that does not have a sealed covering on top of it is impure. One can derive from this that if there is a sealed covering on it, it is pure. Okay. According to the oral tradition, it was taught that the verse is speaking only about an earthenware container, right? Because it says a container, it doesn't say, what kind of container. But the oral tradition teaches us that it's speaking about an earthenware container, for it is a container that contracts impurity only through its opening. Right? Unique about an earthenware vessel is other things would be through touching it, right? If it touched the corpse, right? Or then it would become impure, right? If you touch a corpse, you become impure. If an earthenware vessel touches, it doesn't. But at least the contents inside don't. Only become through the opening does it become impure. Therefore, if its opening is closed with a sealed covering, all of its contents are protected. So that's how we understand, and from the oral tradition understands that it's speaking, because if this was a metal container, right, and it touched a corpse, then it would become impure, and what's inside would become impure. So therefore, even though it didn't say clearly that it was speaking of earthenware vessel, but we understand that because it's speaking about open, that if it was open, it become impure, meaning if it was closed, it become impure. Well, that only refers to an earthenware vessel that's different than a metal vessel, for example. Okay. From this, we can infer that the contents of any of the containers that are susceptible to ritual impurity are protected when the container is closed with a sealed covering. They are not susceptible, right? So from here, we can also infer, not like a metal vessel, by the way, here he's going to, right, as he says, that we can infer from this that anything that is made not from metal or not from earthenware, right? But if it was also covered over its contents, it wouldn't be, and being that this vessel is not susceptible to ritual impurity, they're protecting what's inside of it. Such containers would be made from cow turds, right? Dung, stone containers, containers made from earth that are not, containers made from bones or skins of fish or bones of fowl, oversized wooden containers, wooden boards that are flat and they're not containers, metal kalim that have not been completely fashioned. So it's not a vessel yet. It has to be a vessel, right? It's not a vessel. The contents of all of these are protected by the sealed covering, right? Again, so if it's a metal vessel, if this was made from metal and it's a finished product, so then it wouldn't protect it, what's inside of it. And if it was covered, it would still become impure, right? But if it's a metal vessel and it's not been fashioned yet, so it's not called a vessel yet. That's the key over here. Or if it's a vessel, but it's made from different, like stone and thing or earth, all of those, the above mentioned, then those things do not become susceptible to impurity. And therefore, it would protect the contents. If it was in a structure, like this room over here, a structure, right? With a structure that has a covering, a roof, that if there was a corpse in that place, then the contents would not become impure. Now, if the contents of the utensil closed with a sealed covering are protected, of a utensil closed with a sealed covering are protected, we can infer that this also applies to kalim, to vessels that are swallowed or under an oil that protect the oil. What is the difference between oilim and containers that are protected because of the seal covering? The covering of the containers must be sealed closed, while for an oil, any covering is sufficient. Just 1 second. Now, if the contents of the utensil closed with a seal. Okay. Swallowed means like swallowed into a brick. A ring is swallowed into a brick, for example. Right? It got somehow into the brick. Or under the oil, right? So the difference between oilim and the containers that protect. So in this instance, that would be enough that it doesn't have to be a covering that is sealing it. It's enough just it's just covered. Okay. Halacha 2. If a funnel is turned upside down, it protects anything it covers from impurity. Although its other end has a small hole, it's considered as if it were closed. Because the other end, it's less than a tefach, right? It's a funnel, so it's a very small opening. But so you took the funnel. So imagine this was a funnel, right? Upside down. So the opening, there's a little opening over here. Don't need this, right? Doesn't matter. That's on the bottom side, first of all. The top is covered. It still acts as a protection, meaning you're in the house, that there is some impurity there, some corpse, not just an impurity. Okay. Folks, unfortunately, uh, I've got to leave right now. Other obligations.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
See you
you,
later.
Rabbi.
6:30.
Have a great day.
Have a great
All the
day.
best.
Thank you.
I get benched to your a sweet good year.
Thanks.